How to find your deep core in a hanging position. This is something that can be really beneficial, especially when we are starting to understand how we need to activate our deep core when we are in more climbing specific positions during our training. What I'm going to do here is show you how to understand what it feels like for a deep core to activate while you are hanging. This is something that you can use during hangboarding or any other hanging exercises that you may be doing, such as pull-ups or hanging leg raises, etc. The first piece to this puzzle is making sure that your pelvis is in a really good position that is advantageous for you to activate your deep core. That position is going to be in slightly more of a posterior pelvic tilt. A posterior pelvic tilt simply means that we are able to take the pelvis and bring it a little bit more underneath us. Now, the one thing to really remember about a posterior pelvic tilt is that it is not a squishing of the glutes forward. Okay, so to get into a posterior pelvic tilt, we don't need to squeeze our butt. There's no butt squeezing that goes on to get into a posterior pelvic tilt. So if we're getting into a posterior pelvic tilt to hang, one of the things that can be really helpful to start out with is just to keep your feet on the floor, on a box, whatever, and understand what that feels like. So generally when we're hanging, we just kind of hang here like so, don't really think about it. But what I want you to do is hang and then just think about rocking that pelvis forward and back and making sure when you're doing that, you're not squeezing your glutes to bring your pelvis underneath you. You should be able to just get that mobility of the pelvis by rocking forward, and then you'll just kind of feel it let go. So that's part number one of getting a good deep core activation. Part number two is using our breath. We want to make sure that when we are looking to get deep core activation, especially for hanging, that we're using an exhale. A soft open mouth exhale will really help us to recruit our transverse abdominis muscle, and that's what we're looking to do in this position. I want you to open your mouth and especially starting out. When you're just getting used to this, it can be super helpful to use that exact type of exhale. So step number one is our posterior pelvic tilt, making sure we're not squeezing the glutes. Step number two is we're going to use that nice, soft, long sighing exhale. It enables us to recruit the deep core preferentially over our external obliques. So we're going to get into position again, and we'll get into that posterior pelvic tilt. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take an inhale through our nose, and then we're going to use that soft sighing exhale. And you're just going to exhale all the air. And just kind of notice what that feels like. And you're going to do it a few times at your own pace. So you inhale, exhale. You can shake out your hands if you need to, especially if you're kind of like using smaller holds. We don't need to be getting pumped trying to do this, or if you're on a bar, you can drop down, shake out, whatever. But go through it just a few times at your own pace. What you should start to notice to feel at the end of your exhales is some more tension, especially lower in your belly. That's what we're really looking for, is this tension that feels like it gets generated from our pubic symphysis up and kind of from each of our hip bones or our ASIS inwards. So it is this feeling that it kind of goes here and up. That is the direction of the tension that we're looking for. What we don't want to feel when we are trying to generate this tension in our core is a crunching down sensation. We don't want our bra line to come closer to our waistline. So when we're getting that exhale, we don't need to and kind of do that right here. We want to think about keeping this space really nice and open, and we're getting tension from the bottom up. The third part to a really great deep core activation while hanging is looking for movement at the belly. If you have a pregnant belly, this is one of the coolest things to see, because you actually get to see your muscles at work. And I think it is amazing when I see pregnant women doing this. So what I'm going to do is I will just fold these down so you guys can see a little bit better. But what we are looking for is essentially the ability of the core to kind of support our belly a little bit more. And this is why looking at this during pregnancy is so cool, because you can literally see the TVA begin to support the core more. As you are in this position and you're hanging, what will happen is on that exhale, we should be able to see a change in the shape of the belly. We're not going to see a change in the shape from here to here, okay? This stays the same. You're going to see a change in the shape as the belly comes up and in slightly. So if you watch my belly here, so now I'm just letting my belly like totally be relaxed, okay? So relaxed, kind of out. Now, when I exhale, you can see that it's a different shape than what it was before. And I didn't come down here and I didn't push out on that exhale. I was able to exhale. It comes up, in, and I'm getting that really nice deep core activation. To recap, the 3 things that we are looking for a great deep core activation while we are hanging is number 1, that posterior pelvic tilt. Number 2, we're looking for a soft, open mouth exhale. Number 3, we are looking for that actual kind of movement or sensation of the belly coming in and up. We want that tension coming from the bottom up. We don't want tension from the top down. This is an excellent strategy for you to practice during pregnancy. It will be the strategy that you use postpartum when you're coming back to more hanging work. And that is your deep core activation while hanging. Hope that helps. I'll see you in the next video.